Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here, welcome back to another Division video. Now just a really quick one because I put up a video yesterday speaking about the announcement of the PTS, or the public test server, and in today's State of the Game that has just finished, they gave us a few more details. Not too much to go on right now, of course we will have more details over the coming weeks. In fact, next week we've got some more information on the PTS, but to fill you guys in case you guys missed the State of the Game, then here is what you need to know. So of course if you guys do enjoy this, you do find it helpful, a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below and give me your thoughts as always, but let's get started. So first and foremost, just a bit more clarification after yesterday. As mentioned, the PTS, or the public test server, is only going to be available on PC to begin with. Now, the reason for this is because anytime an update hits a console, i.e. Xbox One or PS4, it needs to go through an approval process. It basically has to go through Xbox Live or through PlayStation Network to make sure that the update meets their requirements. However, on PC, they have complete and utter control of how they patch and how frequently they patch too. So they can basically drop a patch on PC anytime they want, whereas on console, every time they need to prep it, they have to submit it for the kind of approval process, and then once it goes through that, it then hits the public consoles. So as I'm sure you guys can imagine, in things like a public test server where they want to be really agile, they want to be able to say, right, we want to test something right now, let's drop it, go, and then they can announce, say, right guys, you can jump in right now and test this out. That is of course not something they can do on console. They did say they are looking into ways of putting the PTS on console, but at launch, or at least when the PTS drops for the first time, it's just not going to be possible. So don't go thinking that they don't care about console players or anything like that. It is literally just technical limitations. Anyway, with that being said, knowing that they can drop patches as frequently as they want on PC, it means they can also tailor those test environments to specific things. You know, they could just say, for example, when the PTS first goes live, it's going to have an early build of 1.4, which means even if you're not part of the Elite Task Force, but you do have Division on PC, you can then at least kind of get involved, test it out, and give your feedback. However, it also means in the future they can test specific things. For example, let's say Survival comes out, and let's say it has a new incursion. They could say, right, we want to make sure that this incursion doesn't have any glitches, so the incursion, just the incursion, is live on the PTS now. People could then jump in, test it out, and be like, alright, well, hold on a minute, I found a way to glitch through a wall, or this doesn't work, or, you know, this breaks, or there's a crash here. And then they can kind of do focus tests, which is also going to be super powerful. So it doesn't necessarily mean that every single time you jump in the PTS, you're just roaming around randomly. It also allows them to focus and test specific things. Then, following on from a question I asked yesterday, they explained that the way that playing the PTS will work is that they will be cloning PC characters into the PTS iteration of the server, and this will happen every time there's a new patch. So imagine for a second that the PTS is live and they deploy patch 1.4, then with that there'll also be a clone session where they'll copy over all PC characters, and you'll then be able to jump on with the gear that you have earned. You will never be able to go back, so the clone will only work one way. You won't be able to take anything, as mentioned, from the PTS and bring it back into the full game. That's not possible. But it does mean that if you want to prepare for the PTS, for example, myself, I play primarily on Xbox One, but I do want to have a PC character, so I am going to begin leveling my character now, begin gearing up, so that when the PTS does drop, I am able to jump in, get involved, and provide some feedback for you guys. So, cloning will happen. At the moment, there doesn't appear to be, of course, any way to clone console characters to PC, so if you are on console and you do want to get involved in the PTS, like me, then you're just going to have to grind it out and get another max level character. Of course, if you don't want to do that right now, you can similarly just create a character in the PTS and just play it like you would in other public test realms, things like Diablo, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, etc. But that is how it's going to work. A few more things as well, there will also be a specific PTS forum, so once it goes live, if you guys are testing things in the PTS and you want to give feedback, then you can go over to the forums and do that. And lastly, there is no date currently for when the PTS will drop, but we will be getting a date next week. In next week's State of the Game, they will announce when the PTS will go live, and there'll also be details on how to get in there and all that stuff like that. So rest assured that when the information does drop, I will let you guys know. But for the time being, that is all we have. So it's just a few more details following on from yesterday's video, but that's everything we currently have about the PTS. So hopefully you guys find this helpful. Again, like would be super appreciated if you did. Comment down below, let me know your thoughts. But until next time, thank you for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.